If there's one thing broadcast and cable news outlets know how to do, it's fill airtime. As day 2 of election results arrived in an unprecedented national election in which no clear presidential winner was declared on election night, news anchors on the major broadcast and cable news networks were left trying to deliver the news when there wasn't much to say. Although by Wednesday morning no winner could be declared in the presidential race between President Donald Trump and Democratic challenger Joe Biden, and control of the Senate and House of Representatives was still unclear, the networks had to say something to fill their time and try to reassure their viewers. Trying to maintain a tone somewhere between morning show jovial and nightly news serious, anchors on ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC and Fox News kept the 2020 election night going into election morning and conceded that it might turn into election week. Instead of analyzing results and discussing what a presidential victor might do in the next 4 years, the networks mostly kept to the same vague formula: numbers crunching, what-ifs and calls to relax and be patient. TV election coverage, some magic map sport. Too much red and blue in a too close to call presidential race. The biggest outlier was Fox Friends, Fox News morning show that frequently hosts Trump, where the general implication was that Trump was more likely to win than Biden. The ticker in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen specifically denoted how many electoral votes the president needed to get to 270, not both candidates. Its hosts and guests reiterated Trump's unsubstantiated claims that Democrats were trying to steal the election and that Trump showed a strong chance to win despite the fact that millions of votes are left to be counted in key battleground states across the country. Partial results released on election night in several swing states, though not official until all votes are counted and certified, include mostly votes cast on election day. Polling shows Trump has a major advantage among people who plan to vote on election day. It could take days for some states to count all mail-in votes, which are likely to heavily favor Democrats. Elsewhere, the tone was less significantly decisive, even on Fox News America's newsroom, which follows Fox Friends. Anchors and guests, without new information, mostly repeated what we already know, that Trump won Florida, that he falsely claimed he had won the presidential election and threatened to ask the U.S. Supreme Court to halt the counting of legally cast absentee ballots, and that Biden was optimistic in his last public remarks. Most networks left battleground states Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, North Carolina and Georgia as undecided on their maps, with races either too close to call or too early in the counting to call. Around 9:30 a.m. EST, some started calling Michigan as leaning toward Biden but steered clear of definitively calling the state for the former vice president. The Associated Press, which USA Today uses to call states for candidates, has not declared a winner in any of these states as of 11:00 a.m. EST Wednesday. More. Stephen Colbert's live 2020 election special is a mixed bag, just like the presidential results on typically lighter broadcast morning shows NBC's Today, ABC's Good Morning America and CBS This Morning. The sets and anchors looked pretty indistinguishable from the red, white, and blue heavy aesthetics of election night. On Today, hosts Hoda Kotb and Savannah Guthrie were joined by NBC News personalities like Meet the Press host Chuck Todd. It was clear that not even broadcast journalists were immune from the fatigue of the unprecedented election as Todd discussed a big dump of votes soon to come from Pennsylvania, and the table of journalists erupted into giggles and jokes about his turn of phrase. Todd noted on a less news-heavy day, his semantic gaffe might have been its own story. Legal pundits joined on all of the networks to discuss how potential ballots could be challenged. The nitty-gritty of the rules in Pennsylvania, where the vote count might not be completed until Friday or Saturday, and those of other undecided states were reiterated. The same shot of yellow, vested workers counting ballots at the Pennsylvania Convention Center in Philadelphia appeared repeatedly. Inevitably, TV media was left in the same place the rest of the country was on Wednesday morning, uncertain, anxious and waiting to hear more. They were simply left with the task of adding graphics, talking points and touch-screen maps to the unknown. More. CNN's John King is the only one having fun on election day. Viewers react to catchphrase